Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. So I've decided to do something a little bit different, specifically for Valentine's Day. So if all goes well and I'm able to get this out on time, you should be seeing this video on the 14th. I have decided to do a pick a stack. Keep in mind, I have not seen the cards. I've literally shuffled, pulled them, stacked them up. I don't know which is which. So the theme of today is really just going to be like, it's going to be a love reading, but also, maybe blind spots, anything that comes through. And to me, blind spots are things that you may not be seeing right now. So feel free to pick a stack. I will timestamp them. I think I can comment from another YouTube page I have to comment in the description. I can have the timestamps. I'll also put the timestamps in the description. If you don't resonate with any of these, that's definitely no worries. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not everything's going to be for you. Time and energy are fluid. So if something doesn't resonate right now, maybe it will resonate at another time. And even though I'm setting the reading for a particular day, it can resonate at any time. If you watch it, like if you don't even see this, let's say until like a month from now, or even next year on Valentine's Day, you're more than welcome to take what resonates. So what we have for the first stack here is we have rose quartz. The second stack we have tiger's eye, which is in the shape of a heart. I really like that one. And then we have a selenite ball for the third stack. And I actually decided to bring out my Dragon Tarot deck. I have not used that deck in so long. I've been wanting to use it, but I just really love the Golden Dawn Tarot because I got that one. So yeah, we're bringing it out. We're going to be using 4 different decks today. So we have at the bottom we have the Kuan Yin Oracle. Under that, I believe we have the Golden Dawn Tarot. Under that, or on top of that, I'm sorry, we have the Mystical Cat Tarot, and then we have the Dragon Tarot on top of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get started. So I'm going to move these 2 stacks out the way. I'm going to start with stack 1, which is the Rose Quartz stack. So I call it to Spirit to please help the collective hear, see or know anything they need to hear, see or know for both stacks 1, 2, and 3. For blind spots in love or anything you would like to come through during Valentine's Day. Alright, take that rose quartz off, set it on the side. Alright, so what do we have first? Stack 1. 3 of Wands reversed. 10 of Pentacles. Okay. Alright. We have the Cat Tarot. Let's see, I don't know how I'm going to design this. King of Swords reversed. 5 of Wands reversed. What is this? Justice. Sorry, Temperance. I'm going to actually move these over here quick. Stack 3. Move over stack 2. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay. And for the Oracle card, we have Daughter of the Phoenix. Okay. Let's see here. I'm kind of being drawn to this 10 of Pentacles and Justice right now, along with the Temperance reversed. And the initial message I'm kind of getting here is, if it's in terms of blind spots and things you're not seeing right now, I feel like right now you're not necessarily seeing how a certain situation, while it seems unbalanced, it may be making you feel off, kind of like just off kilter. It's actually bringing balance into your life. And this is actually what's going to lead you to that, I wouldn't say like emotional fulfillment, but more so, I feel like 10 of Pentacles, it can represent the end of cycles. Especially, karmic cycles. It's a big end of karmic cycles card for me. 10 in the Tarot is the end of, the numbers starts over at 1. And numerologically, that would come down to a 1. And so what I'm seeing right now is, yeah, okay, I'm being told by Spirit that you may have just been in a situation, I don't know, might have been actually a while ago, but it's what I'm seeing is you may be healing from a situation in which there was some kind of third-party involvement. There may have been infidelity, just cheating. But I'm also kind of getting the story of, like, even within a friendship, I feel like there might have been some lying, there might have been some deceit, some kind of backstabbing. I'm feeling like this really like big backstabbing energy is what's coming out to me right now. But what I'm seeing, having this, okay, Spirit's telling me to just do away with the whole blind spots for this for this stack in particular. And so what Spirit is telling me right now is, like, kind of just allow yourself time to process everything that has happened, and also, like, pay attention to the red flags when you start getting involved with new people, when you are ready for that, which I think is also part of this message, is to take things at your own pace and recognize, like, if you're not ready to move forward with somebody, like, you don't have to take that step. Like, there's no obligations there. And if somebody's pressuring you to doing that, if they're kind of being emotionally manipulative, which is kind of what I'm getting here with this King of Cups. I'm sorry, that was King of Cups. King of Cups reversed. I feel like you may be dealing with somebody who is kind of trying to guilt trip you into... Spirit's telling me they're trying to guilt trip you into dating. You may have known this person for a while, and they may be trying to leverage the connection they have with you to move forward with things. And it doesn't feel like a very healthy energy, given we do have the Five of Wands in reverse. It feels like this person is trying to make changes in your relationship that may seem unfair to you, for various reasons, but mostly because I'm being told that you may not feel like you're ready for this, and that's totally okay. And if this person really does care about you the way they say they do, they would not be forcing you into something you're not comfortable with. And if this is something that you feel guided to do, I think Spirit's advice right now is learn to be comfortable with speaking up for yourself. Learn to stand up to this person and tell them, hey, like, I understand this, that, and the third, like, hear their point of view, but just be really clear and, like, look, I'm not ready for this, possibly because you might have just gotten out of a situation where you were cheated on, or you're still healing from a situation that was really, really just unbalanced and immature. And I think a lot of the times, not being ready for relationships and not being emotionally available can often show us where we need to heal ourselves to get to a place where we feel like we can be ready to let somebody in. Because it's okay to keep your boundaries, you don't have to always let people in. You don't always have to be extremely intimate with people, whether that's physical, emotional, or spiritual intimacy. Your intimacy is really on your terms as it goes with others that you're involved with. So yeah, that's kind of just the main message I'm getting with this. I'm going to actually go ahead and get to the Oracle and see what we have for the Oracle here, which is Daughter of the Phoenix, card number 6. So, Daughter of the Phoenix, card number 6. When the soul is ready to spread its wings, it goes through a deep cleansing, purification, and preparation for new levels of spiritual wisdom, power, and light. Just like the phoenix that is baptized through celestial fire to be born anew, you are going through such a phase of heavenly purification, preparation, and initiation. This is an advanced phase of soul growth, and soon after you will enjoy spiritual peace, divine power, and advancement on your divine life path. Kuan Yin, Daughter of the Phoenix, has been through fire both physically and heavenly, and has ascended into a position of great spiritual peace, power, and authority. She guides you now to claim your rebirth and ascend. In the same way that if we were moving house, we would need to sort through our possessions, and sometimes it is an opportunity to let go of that which we do not wish to take with us into our new life. As we prepare to move into a higher level of consciousness, there are old habits, stuck emotions, and stagnant energy that do not belong in our new life cycle. The path of purification and initiation by celestial fire is preparation for spiritual enlightenment, greater happiness, well-being, prosperity, success, spiritual responsibility, and leadership. It can be a challenging time, as that which would stand in the way of a new level of spiritual potency must be eliminated, and often these things are deep fears doubts or questions about our own worth and ability. It can feel confronting to meet these parts of ourselves consciously, yet we cannot let go if we do not even realize what we are holding on to within us. This initiation will help you release any old baggage or pain that will not resonate with the higher levels of light that you are preparing to live. It can feel challenging at times, but know that there is nothing wrong. There is actually something very right behind these experiences. Do not fear the challenges. You would not be taking these spiritual exams if you are not ready to live at a higher spiral of consciousness. Have some faith in your own progress, and remember not to get too attached to what is leaving your consciousness as you are preparing to ascend. Letting go of old energies with trust, even if you do not always consciously understand what is happening, is the quickest way to be able to ascend easily and gracefully. To pass this initiation and benefit from it, we must be prepared to surrender that which needs to be burned away. Kuan Yin, daughter of the Phoenix, guides you to have faith and fearless trust that it is safe to let the heavenly fire have its way, so that you may rise up anew into your spiritual destiny. The initiation is in its final phases when you are able to put your new beliefs and talents to the test, living based on your spiritual principles of trust, faith, and love. No matter what is presented now, it is an opportunity for you to apply your spiritual values and live your life accordingly. Then the celestial fire will soon have done its work, and you will arise like a glorious phoenix, ready for a new life. So I'm going to include the healing they include. So heavenly healing with the daughter of the Phoenix. Sit quietly with your eyes closed and see, sense, feel, or intend that there is a column of fire descending from above your head, all around you, and through the center of your being until it burns with spiritual love high above your head and deep into the earth with you at its center. Say, I now release with trust and peace any energy cord or attachment that no longer serves my soul ascension into the next level of divine light and embodiment. I call upon beloved daughter of the Phoenix and heavenly fire, Kuan Yin, to bless and assist me now. Be aware of a soft light that begins to glow within the center of the column of fire. This is Kuan Yin. Imagine her as a magnificent phoenix goddess with wings and a heart of divine fire. She rises up, pulling you towards her, and then all becomes very peaceful as she steps out of the fire as a gentle feminine goddess. Allow her light to soothe you and lift you out of the fire into peace with her. Imagine shedding old energies and emerging new and refreshed with the hurt light cocooning you, protecting you, and supporting you as you grow. All is well, beloved. Well, I think that about sums it up. It kind of goes back to what I was saying. Just taking time to heal what you need to heal and realizing it's okay to not be ready for something new until you feel like you've come to a place of healing. And that's really something that only you can determine at the end of the day. Honestly, it's not something anybody else can tell you how to do. I mean, you can find stuff online and you can talk to people who've been through similar experiences. But when it comes to your own soul path and your own life purpose and your own healing, I mean, ultimately, you really know what's best for you. And I think that is really what these cards are trying to tell you, is just be patient with yourself and realize, like, you're right where you need to be within your healing phase, even if you feel like you're not. So just take it one step at a time and all's going to be good. So that concludes stack 1. We're going to go ahead and move on to stack 2. So I'm going to get these cards out of the way. Here we go, step 2 with the tiger's eye. Okay, Page of Cups. Oh no. 8 of Cups reversed. Five of Swords reversed. Eight of Pentacles reversed. 9 of Wands. Ooh, the Lovers. Is this a divine partnership I'm hearing? Dynasty of the Divine Mother. Hey, this came out for our last collective reading. Spirit's telling me that this is actually, for whoever resonated with the last reading, the last collective reading, Spirit's telling me that this is actually pertaining to your situation and anybody else who resonates that hasn't seen it. So this is actually really interesting. I mean, the Page of Cups and the Eight of Cups reversed. What this is kind of telling me is that this situation that you're, especially with the Lovers here, this situation that you're involved with is essentially going through a renewal process. And the only reason it feels like you're not moving away from the conflict is because both of you are still holding on to the past hurts that you have done to each other. And so with the Lovers here, I'm being told that you need to make a decision to let go of that. As I've said before, forgiveness is definitely at your own pace. If you don't feel comfortable forgiving somebody, that you do not have to forgive them. If you're angry, be angry, feel what you need to feel. But at some point, I mean, just stop crying over spilled milk, I suppose. Like, I'm not saying, oh, get over it, it's not important. Definitely feel what you need to feel. There's really nobody that knows what you need to feel but you. But spirits tell me that it's getting to a point where there comes a point of doing shadow work and healing, and then overindulging in the sadness and really dwelling in the pain and replaying the scenarios in your head. And what I find most interesting here is we have the Five of Swords in reverse to the Eight of Pentacles reversed. And Eight of Pentacles in the upright to me usually indicates, expanding on a foundation that's already been built, moving forward in stability. Five of Swords in the upright usually indicates, some type of conflict in a relationship. Some type of conflict even in a group setting is what I'm being told. But the fact that we do have the Nine of Wands here with the Lovers, is like you kind of got to make, as a couple, or as a situationship, or as a friendship, or whatever the situation is to you, I'm being told it's a situationship, that you have to consciously make the decision to essentially like move forward from the conflict and learn. So you need to learn to step away from the conflict. So if this person is continuously bringing you the same BS, just like holding the same things against you, not letting you be human, make mistakes, even if you're not letting yourself make mistakes, you kind of have to make that choice to start anew for yourself. That doesn't mean walking away from this person, but if that's something you resonate with, walk away. But essentially what I'm seeing for the energies for this deck in particular, it's like there's an opportunity for a kind of a childlike nature to be renewed in this connection. But that's going to require both of you to come to terms with the fact that the fighting is going to continue unless you both agree to disagree. Because, nobody's ever going to see eye to eye on everything. And I feel like at some point you got to kind of pick your battles and recognize that some of the petty battles just don't matter in the grand scheme of things, but still applying that whole concept of like you have no obligations to stick around with anybody, and if you do, don't judge yourself for it. I'm actually being shown. It was a Gary Vee video I saw today. I was waiting at the car dealership today, and I just was kind of watching the captions, and I saw a little snippet of it, and he said something like, the reason he's so efficient is because he doesn't judge himself for being inefficient. And I feel like that whole saying really applies to this situation. And it's like not judging yourself or the relationship for the fact that there has been some type of conflict, for the fact that, maybe you are fighting a lot. Maybe it's because you're both changing so much that you're both making each other uncomfortable seeing how different you guys are. And you may not be who they thought you were, and vice versa, because you're changing. Because this relationship is helping you grow, it is fast tracking your growth. And so kind of realizing that like this relationship is a journey, and it's not going to be cut and dry all the time. It's not going to be, unicorns and daisies. Like sometimes it's going to be really hard, because that can tend to be what relationships are like. In some instances, there is going to be conflict. Healthy conflict, I believe, can really lead to beautiful connections and deeper connections and more growth. But if you're repeating the same conflicts, it's going to lead you down the same path. And even if this is a divine connection, if you want to call it a twin flame or soulmate, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates with you, there can come a point where you both let your karmic baggage get in the way so much that it just not necessarily turns karmic, but it just kind of like sours the potential of what was growing because you're acting out of your pain. And this is kind of just like you need to take the time to heal your inner child, and you listen to your inner child and see what it is you need to learn in this moment instead of trying to figure out every step of the way, like 6 months, a year into the future, really becoming present within the relationship and present within yourself and seeing how you can do better, not only for yourself, but for the other person. Because at that point it becomes, it's like a union of sorts, you move as a whole. And, especially if you're going to be joining forces, it's important to consider the other person, but also recognizing that your boundaries and your needs should take precedence, honestly. Like, you shouldn't have to put other people before yourself if it puts you in a position where you don't feel comfortable. So I'm going to actually go into the Oracle card. So we have here Dynasty of the Divine Mother, card 8. Okay. The only wish of the Divine Mother Goddess is that all beings be spiritually free. The Divine Goddess calls us to realize our true nature, to fall in love with our own divinity. Enlightenment is a culmination of many small steps, each one as a drop of water forming a divine ocean of peace, realization, love, and unity within us. An ocean that washes away fear, separation, and scarcity, that bathes us in abundance and bliss. You carry the torch of enlightenment within you, beloved. Let it shine each day. Sometimes we imagine enlightened beings to be another species to everyday humans, yet there is an old Eastern saying that goes, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Enlightenment is made manifest through the small actions we take each day. Sometimes the smallest action can feel like an enormous leap, and yet when we take that action, we realize that the journey into peace is something we can choose to take at any moment. The Dynasty of the Divine Mother is her spiritual legacy, her endless compassion for human suffering, and her intent to lift humanity out of ignorance into peace, which shines through the Oriental goddesses like Kuan Yin, Green Tara, and Mazu. This oracle indicates that your spiritual legacy is important on this planet. You are a channel for the Dynasty of the Divine Mother for the enlightenment of all beings. We contribute to the Divine Mother's dynasty through our choices and creations, from the inner thoughts we hold on to projects in which we invest time, energy, and money. These become part of the spiritual legacy as we pass on to generations to come. Become part of the spiritual legacy we pass on to generations to come. The Divine Mother now guides you to realize that your soul is moving closer to personal enlightenment and is beginning to live it from moment to moment. The more you choose to notice and appreciate these moments, the more they will happen for you. It is this realization of your own process of realization taking place. It is very exciting, and yet it will not take you away from the world of your loved ones, as you might have feared subconsciously, beloved. It will simply make your light stronger, bringing blessings and peace through your being into the world and your relationships each day. Your personal enlightenment will help the planet in so many ways. You will become a stronger spiritual light to which others can look so that they can find their way more clearly. You are being asked to surrender ideas about what enlightenment may look or feel like, and to realize where it is already emerging within you. Excuse me. Anyways, you will also receive guidance about your spiritual practice on a daily basis soon. You may be drawn to meditate in a different way, to work with sacred words or prayers, Tai Chi, or Qigong, healing arts, or to get the acupuncture or massage more regularly. Listen to your heart. It knows unity and has the seed of enlightenment already within it, and follow your inner guidance. This is the luminous pathway to divine realization and living your everyday enlightenment. The Divine Mother has gratitude for you as a part of her spiritual legacy, a member of the Dynasty of the Divine Mother. This card is also guidance not to fear if your spiritual path appears to be losing some focus to matters in the day-to-day world. Your spiritual focus will return when the time is right, but for now, look to what is happening in your life as spiritual practice and trust that you are progressing with perfection. Enlightenment doesn't have to happen in an obviously spiritual place. Our life can be a temple for our soul growth if we are open to it from the heart. Let your heart rest peaceful, knowing that your spiritual light is shining bright and growing deeply. And here is the little meditation healing. Your enlightened heart. Lie quietly in a slightly darkened room and take your awareness into your heart center. Imagine that there is a light glowing in your heart that ebbs and flows with your breath. As you breathe in, you feel the light glowing stronger, and as you breathe out, you feel the light expanding within and then all around you. Say softly, aloud as you breathe in, I feel the light of love within me, and as you breathe out, say, I feel the light of love all around me. Breathe in and out like this for a while, and then say, I am one with the light of love in all things. Rest, feel the energy of connection, and allow it to travel from your heart through your entire body. When you are ready, open your eyes. Well, stack 2. Well, if you wouldn't, can you imagine that oracle card matching up quite perfectly? I think the big takeaway here, and this is really what came out in that collective reading, which is why I feel like this applies to whoever it resonated to. Really trusting where you're at in your process. I know it can be tough, especially if you're with somebody especially if you're not with somebody, but you're talking to somebody that's making your life difficult. If you have feelings for somebody where it's not working out you thought the way it would. And I think a lot of this is happening to deepen your spiritual practice and learn to see the spirituality in all things. You know, spirituality doesn't have to be put into a box. Spirituality is whatever you make it, in my opinion. And I think these cards are here to show you that. And this situation. So yes. I wish the best for you, stack 2. But I am going to move on to stack 3. No. Doke. Stack 3 with the selenite. Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful. 5 of Cups reversed. Not bad. 7 of Wands. The Floating Cat in reverse. 6 of Swords. Prince of Pentacles. Okay. And the Lotus Throne. Lovely card. Lovely set of cards here. You have your stack 3. So Spirit is telling me, and what I'm seeing here with the 5 of Cups reversed, the Floating Cat reversed, and the Wheel of Fortune, it's almost like you're resisting what's being shown to you. And being told you're resisting the red flags. Because you're so caught up in wanting a new opportunity to build a foundation with somebody that you're kind of overlooking some of the major red flags that you may not see. Considering that this is the whole intent was like a love and blind spots and what you're not seeing right now. I think this is actually really where it applies, is you may not be seeing the red flags because you want a relationship so bad, or because you have your eyes on somebody that you think is like, oh, this is, like the person I'm meant to be with, or I love them so much because this, that, and the third, we have such a great connection. But I'm just seeing that there's some things you may not be looking at properly. But what I'm kind of seeing now is we do have the 6 of Swords here. And the 6 of Swords, to me, represents kind of moving to calmer waters. 7 of Wands. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is a lot of the red flags that you may not be seeing is because the person that you're dealing with, this Prince of Pentacles, they may still be kind of healing from some heartbreak. They may be still be healing their own trauma, inner childhood trauma. And I feel like that may be a reason you're letting them slide in certain areas, because you're like, oh, they're going through so much, they've been through this, they've been through that, like it's okay if they do this or do that. And I feel like there's a fine line between compassion and self-sabotage. And I think this is really going to take you kind of getting in touch with your higher self, whether you meditate or doing something that kind of calms your mind and gets you to a place of seeing things clearly, which is why I'm seeing the lotus throne here without even reading the book. Just so far what I'm seeing is this is going to take something to where you need to start consulting higher guidance, whether that's your higher self or your spirit guides. The Wheel of Fortune, and the reason I don't feel like this is like a terribly toxic situation. It doesn't feel toxic at all. It really just feels like there's a lot of love there. There's a lot of compassion, but there needs to be that kind of balance and boundaries set early on and enforced. Maybe not in such a confrontational way, but enforced in a way that makes sure you keep yourself from like falling back into the same patterns that you may have been in the past. Not letting people walk over you so much. Learning to be open and honest about your needs, even if you feel like it's going to make the other person uncomfortable. If this person is willing to just walk away because you expressed something that is very important to you, something that you feel like you need to feel fulfilled within a connection. First off, sitting with that, understanding why you feel the need to have that need. I'm not saying like there's anything wrong with having needs, like everybody has needs and they should all be validated, but make sure you validate that with yourself first and not place that validation in the hands of somebody else. And so the floating cat, when it's in the upright, that usually means, going with the flow. I kind of see it as the full card, but I do think there is another card in this cat deck that is indicative of the Fool. But to me, this kind of feels like the Fool, or it can also be like the universe that we've seen in the Golden Dawn Tarot deck. But it's basically just this kind of energy of like, it's like you're trying to move too fast, you're trying to force things, and I'm seeing this here with the Seven of Wands. And this. This is kind of weird because it's like, I think it was stack 1, where there was this kind of like feeling of being, somebody was like pressuring somebody, trying to get into a relationship. And now this feels like the reading of the person that is doing that. So the stack 1 actually seemed that, this is like 2 different perspectives. And I feel like this can apply to so many different people, which is why I see this as pretty interesting. So I notice this is kind of like this power dynamic of, especially like if somebody is like a masculine dominant energy or a feminine dominant energy, not gender specific, I really do feel like that kind of will apply. And I notice like, let's say like you're involved with somebody who is masculine dominant, and you do tend to be masculine dominant as well. There can be power dynamics shifting to where you may find yourself shifting into a more feminine dominant energy, or vice versa. It can go any which way. But I do notice in relationships, divine relationships, that type of dynamic tends to balance out. There tends to be a give and take, or a push and give, if even that. But what I'm seeing here is like, it's a very similar message to that first deck of like, but from the perspective of like understanding your motives is what I'm being told. Because the Five of Cups reversed in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, Five of Cups in the upright to me indicates focusing on the 2 spilled cups. You're focusing on the heartbreaker. You're focusing on the fact that like things aren't necessarily what you thought they would be, but you have 3 full cups behind you. But why I like the Five of Cups in reversed is because that essentially pours those 3 cups out, has those 2 cups filled. And so what I'm being told with this card is you need to really focus on building that foundation. This is like, this story is shifting in so many different ways, but you should make sure you focus on building the foundation with the person that you think you're interested in. Really get to know them, be their friend, become best friends, because I feel like that is such an important phase in any relationship. That's Spirit's telling me that's it for this pull. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Kuan Yin Oracle. which is the Lotus Throne, 37. Get some final advice here. The same Lotus wisdom that enlightens beloved Kuan Yin and all spiritual masters is the very same Lotus light within your own heart, beloved. It can take great courage to trust your own inner light, to ascend the throne of your own inner spiritual authority, especially if the light of others around you seems more powerful than your own. You are being asked to trust this inner guidance above all others now. Have faith in your own heart. Know that you are divine. There are times on the path that we can greatly benefit from assistance from others. In fact, these times are almost always. A true spiritual master, teacher, guru, guide, or healer has the same role, to connect you with conscious awareness to your own light so that you may come to realize the spiritual power, authority, and beauty that you are in truth is the same spiritual power, authority, and beauty that you may see and honor in them. Sometimes we might need to see an external guide to help us make that connection. Sometimes we are closer to our own divine wisdom than we consciously realize, and yet we fall into a habit of believing that others may know more of what is good or true for us than we do ourselves. Sometimes out of habit and conditioning, it is just easier to see the divine light in others than within our own heart. This oracle has come to you to guide you to trust that your own inner teacher is growing stronger, that you have more spiritual wisdom than you may have previously acknowledged, and that you will benefit greatly from heeding your own heart's guidance at this time. You are being guided here to carefully discern the level of influence that others may be having over you. In your admirable willingness to be open, to learn, and to grow, you are wise not to surrender your discernment. No matter how wise or powerful a teacher might be, it is wiser and more powerful still to always test what they seek to say to you by sitting with it in your own heart. Does all guidance you have been following feel true to your heart? At this time, the inner teacher, the guru within all, the goddess light of Kuan Yin in your own heart, is speaking to you, urging you to trust your own divine nature more deeply than ever before. You are being asked to ascend to the lotus throne of your own divine soul. Trust your courage, beloved. Your journey is taking you into a spiritual maturity and will need you to acknowledge that you have spiritual authority within your own heart. Yes, you can learn from others, but always honor your inner teacher, beloved, as this is your own unconditionally loving and flawless guide, the part of you that is pure divine wisdom, always has and always will be. And the little meditation healing, which is healing ascension to the lotus throne. Sit or lie comfortably with your eyes closed, and take your awareness to your heart chakra in the center of your chest, being aware of the light within it. Imagine that within this heart light, you can perceive a beautiful throne, a magnificent chair or lotus upon which a divine being of light sits in graceful, strong, and compassionate pose. Quietly say, I now ask to connect with the wisdom and spiritual authority of the lotus throne and the being of unconditional love and light that dwells upon it in my own heart chakra now. Be aware of that being connecting with you through divine love emanating from the eyes of this being, from the heart, and from the energy field of the throne itself, which is strong, powerful, and wise. As you allow yourself to truly receive the energy of this wise illumined being, you realize it is your own higher self on this lotus throne. Feel the peace and the trust within yourself. Just let it be. Give yourself permission not to have to understand or analyze it. When you have stayed with that experience for long enough, say, I am the light divine upon the lotus throne, eternally guiding and loving, drawing me back to the divine light of my own true nature. Om Mani Padme Hum. Well, so it looks like Kuan Yin and this whole stack is asking you to get in touch with yourself and trust that you know yourself better than anybody, especially when it comes to situationships or any type of relationship. Really learning to trust your own discernment and learning to realize when people may not be telling you the whole truth is not what I'm being told, and kind of sitting with what they're telling you, But yeah, at the end of the day, you're protected, you're loved, and you got you. At the end of the day, if somebody doesn't want to come through, you got you. Or if they're trying to pressure you into something you don't feel comfortable, you got you, and you know yourself best. I think that concludes this stack. That's all the messages Spirits got for me, so yeah. Thank you to everybody that stuck around for any part of the reading, really. This is actually really fun. I've been considering doing like a pick a stack for a while, but I was like, I don't know. And so I'm glad I did. You know, it was nice. I kind of got a really broad perspective of various situations. But yeah, so again, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can send me an email. That's jazargoshepard@gmail.com, or I leave the details in the description. If you want to find me on Instagram, you can send me a DM to book a reading as well. Same username, jazargoshepard. All of the details in the description. Yeah, so I don't know. If you picked a stack, if you resonated with one of them, a part of one of them, or with all of them, or none of them, I'm really grateful for you sticking around, for supporting me, watching my videos, all the likes, all the comments. It's beautiful, and I love it, and I love you all so much. I wish you a blessed, rest of the week. I should have a reading coming out soon. We'll see if we can get it out in time. Don't see a problem with that, but I realize that if this is out on Valentine's Day, it is Valentine's Day. There's like that kind of societal pressure to, be in a relationship or have a loved one to love on. I feel like a lot of it's just like hype. It's hype to get us to buy things, to spend more money, which can be fun. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's like the love is what's most important to me personally, and kind of just recognizing like, hey, like, I don't have to like drain my bank account to show somebody I love them. Small acts can go a long way. And if you know your person, or even if you don't have a person, use that love on yourself. Treat yourself. Do something nice for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, do some Reiki on yourself. Have a nice meditation. Take like a nice like salt bath. I don't know. Whatever you feel is fun and loving for you. But yes, that concludes the video. Excuse my little V-Day ramble. Thank you again. I love you all so much. I'll see you again soon. So, yes. Until next time. Bye.